Hello there, my name is Dana Jean Antonelli. I'm a certified etiquette consultant. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Here I talk about manners, modern etiquette, self-development, and anything else that can help you become the best version of yourself. If you've been here before, I'm very happy to welcome you back. So for today's video, we will be going over networking. I know networking can be overwhelming and making small talk can be challenging, but this video will for sure help better prepare you for your next networking event. So let's get to it. Let's talk about basic networking rules. So as soon as you're invited, you want to always RSVP as soon as possible. And then you also want to look for dress codes, right? Some networking events can be more business casual, cocktail, or formal, so just be on the lookout so you are dressed appropriately for the event. And then you also want to arrive on time. Punctuality, again, I feel like I'm a broken record and I talk about the same thing, but you have to arrive on time. Be punctual at any event, date, whatever. Arrive on time. I can't say this enough. The next is you want to put your cell phone away just to minimize distraction, and this will make you more approachable. If I see someone on their phone, it makes me not want to go up to them because they're on their phone, they're busy. You want to bring business cards. You're at a networking event. You're here to foster relationships, both in business and hopefully personal also. You want to bring business cards to give out and, make that connection. I want you to change your mindset when going to networking events and, change it into the fact that you are here to forge new relationships that goes beyond transactional. So that way you're not just there talking about business, you're there to connect with people on a whole nother level. So first you want to go into the venue, of course, right? And you want to scan the room, figure out who your target will be, and then just take a deep breath and go up to them. And it's as easy as just introducing yourself, put your hand out for a handshake. Hello, my name is Dana. And if appropriate, or if you would like, you could say what company you're from. And another thing to meet people is you also want to walk around, and a lot of people tend to stay in one area. I've certainly observed this, the last few times I've been to networking events, and they tend to stick to one area. And how are you going to meet people? You're there to network, you're there to meet people. So you want to definitely walk around and make rounds. And again, just introduce yourself. And another way to meet people is to go to the bar. People oftentimes would break away from their group to grab a drink. So the bar is always a good place. I've certainly had luck meeting a few people at the bar when I've been to networking events. And even if you don't drink alcoholic beverage, they have other drinks at the bar, water, sparkling water, soda. So just post up at the bar and meet someone. And here's something you never want to do. You don't want to squeeze yourself into a closed circle. For instance, you are interested in speaking to someone in that close circle group. You certainly don't want to just barge in there, right? You want to wait for one person, because I guarantee you, one person will need to break away to grab a drink or take a break, get some fresh air, or use the restroom. So once that happens, then just slide in there and introduce yourself. So now let's talk about the name game. And I'll admit it, I tend to forget someone's name. I have a tendency of introducing myself and then repeating the person's name, like, "Hi, Jen, it's so nice to meet you." And then 5 seconds later, it just goes over me. But here's a trick that I've been doing. If I had forgotten their name, I would walk them over to, say, a colleague or another friend, have them introduce themselves to each other. So for instance, I bring the person to my friend Karen. "Oh, this is my friend Karen." And then most likely, Karen will introduce herself, put out a handshake, and then that person whose name you've forgotten, 9 times out of 10 will introduce themselves. "Hi, my name is Jen," and there you go. Now, to some people, it can be insulting to let them know that you have forgotten their name. So instead, just ask them politely to remind you what their name is, especially if you have only met them at that event or another event beforehand. So now let's talk about what to talk about at these events. You don't want to limit your conversation to just strictly business related. Again, you want to have a mindset of going into these events with fostering a relationship with someone. I've certainly been in events where people would come up to me and I feel like they're just looking for opportunities, and that's not what you want to do. You definitely want to build relationships that just goes beyond transactional. So you want to avoid starting your conversations with, so what do you do? Again, it just can come off as opportunistic and it can turn people off. Now you want to be mindful of topics that you should steer clear from. Politics, big no-no. Religion, sexual orientation, family, illness, or diet. You don't want to talk about anything really too personal. And weather. Now I say this because it's such a boring conversation topic. It's a dead-end conversation. You can talk about how nice the weather has been this week, and then where do you go from there? Nowhere. So just kind of stay clear. Now, instead, you want to talk about, upcoming events like festivals or concerts, sports that's happening around the city, your hobbies, your travel plans. More oftentimes than not, it's really easy to just talk about food or new restaurant openings. Everyone loves food, right? So that's already something that you would most likely have in common with someone. So how do you keep the conversation going? You certainly want to ask open-ended questions, right? So for instance, if you were at a presentation, right, and you're talking about it, instead of saying, oh, I really liked Jake's presentation last week, you would ask the person, oh, what did you think of Jake's presentation last week? Then it will prompt them to say something because they would be responding to your question versus just you stating that you had enjoyed Jake's presentation last week. Now, another thing you can compliment them on is either tangible or intangible accomplishments, whether they had just received an award or their presence and how they carry themselves, or, their quick wit. Now let's move on to making new friends. Making new friends can be challenging for others. It can be easier for others, but you want to start off with finding something you both have in common. If you're meeting someone for the first time, you already have being in that event in common. So, you could just ask, what brings you to this event? Or if you're at a party, hey, how do you know Jacqueline? So just finding that common ground and then just building up from that. So again, just asking those open-ended questions. Making a light joke is also fun and, it makes things more relaxed. Who doesn't like to laugh anyways, right? You also want to show genuine interest in what you are talking about. And for you, if you don't feel like your conversation isn't going anywhere, it's okay to just excuse yourself or, tell them it was great meeting them. Now let's talk about how to be more likable. Now the trick is you want to look into the person's left eye that you're speaking with. By looking into their left eye, this will make you lean in more naturally, which shows that you are engaged and actively listening to whatever it is they are saying. So try that and let me know how it works. Now, managing bad networkers. Have you ever been into an event where you are speaking with someone and they are just so close to you, you're like, please, give me my personal space. Now the trick, it's called the tango. So what you do is you just plant one foot in front of your other foot, and then, this will prompt you to lean back. I'm actually doing it right now. So literally, if you're just standing, you put it in front of your other foot. So this will prompt you to lean back, and you are creating that boundary from that other person because they can't come closer to you because your foot's in the way. So you'll have that space in between both of you. Now, if you've tried to end a conversation with someone, but the other person doesn't get the message, don't say that you want to excuse yourself to go to the restroom, because guess what? They can follow you to the restroom. Or if you want fresh air, they might need fresh air too. Or if you want to grab a drink, they can go to the bar and follow you and get another drink. Instead, just be direct and let them know that it was great to meet them. You look forward to connecting with them in the future. Is it rude to not hand your business card? I will say yes. You're not really interested in a relationship with them. You are at a networking event, so just hand them your business card politely, and that's a great way to end the conversation. Now, I know I said in the beginning that networking is all about fostering a relationship. So you wanna, again, have the mindset of going into these events, creating a relationship that goes beyond anything business related. You wanna add meaningful connection to the relationships that you have built from these networking events. So for instance, say you connected with Maria on LinkedIn or on Facebook, and you happen to see that it's her birthday. Send her a birthday wish or holiday greetings. That just shows that you care about the person, even though if it's just as basic as writing on their wall on Facebook or commenting on their Instagram photo. Now, another thing to keep in mind is you want to help someone because it's the right thing to do, not because you're expecting something in return. So for instance, if Maria had asked you for connection that could assist with her next project, and you provide that connection because you wanted to, because it was the right thing to do, not because you're expecting something in return. But I will say 90% of the time, if you do a favor for someone, that favor will be returned back to you. Now, you also want to stay relevant with people that you have connected with, whether it's via LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram, by posting your photos and again, just being active. You never know if they're scrolling through and then they happen to see your post, and meanwhile in the back end they have a new project coming up that could assist you, or they could need your knowledge and your expertise on, then they will most likely contact you and work together. Now, you want to be honest when you feel like a request isn't appropriate. So for instance, if Karen is asking me to help her cousin get a job with my company, I would just be honest with her and tell her that I don't feel comfortable because I don't know them enough. Because let's say if her cousin did get the job in my company and they're not the best employee, that makes me look bad. Just be honest and straightforward, and trust me, they will appreciate your honesty in the future. And again, little things matter. So, request doesn't have to be business related. You could always recommend, restaurants or cafes to take their clients to. It's the little things that count. And lastly, show appreciation if a network has made a connection for you. So, send them a thank you note or even a small gift like a gift basket or, a bottle of champagne. It's just those little things, again, that count. And there you have it. Tips to help you become better at networking. If you follow these, I guarantee you will become better and the pressure will be less when you go into these networking events. And I do hope you find this video helpful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions, comments, you want to keep the conversation going, please comment me down below. And I hope to see you on my next video. Thank you so much for watching.